All right, guys. So today we have an interesting person with us. We've got a lot of people in the community voting different things, from ESTP to INFJ to fucking ENTP. We got a lot of people saying things. So today we're gonna be interviewing Ann to find out personality type. And you don't have to go into anything you're not comfortable with, but we do say we will use to find your best fit type. Can you introduce yourself and like how you got in the type and that?
Yeah, my name's Anne, obviously. I got into typing
Yeah.
like 6 years ago or something, and I took a personality test, a 16 personality thing. Um, and I got the ENFP result and I was reading it. I was like, oh, that is so me. Um, and I just became obsessed with it. And then, I ended up kind of um sort of learning about cognitive functions not soon after that. And I was like, oh, I'm not TE child, I'm TI parent, I'm ENTP. And then I thought I was an ENTP for like 3 years. And then now I'm very confused. So yeah, I need help.
What do
Yeah.
you think the confusion comes from?
I just don't like I just don't know what I do. I just don't know like how I am, what I do, what my behavior is. I really don't know. I feel like I can relate to everything I read. Like one day I'll be like, oh, what if I'm an ESTP? I watch a bunch of ESTP videos and I'm like, I'm an ESTP. And then, the next day I'm like, I'm an ENTP or an ENFP or an
Mhm.
ESFP or an INTJ. And it just all fits. So all of it works. So
Yeah.
I just don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of things in type itself is quite bendable. So that's quite a thing there. So I'm gonna ask you some questions, some new ones. So it's gonna be fun. When faced with a new problem, what's your first instinct?
New problem.
Hmm.
Oh man, let me think. I don't know. I just try to figure it out. I just, you know, maybe I'll get a little bit stressed out, but I try to figure it out and just get through it.
So you don't have like a specific like plan of like how you like would go through it? Like how would you like assess
Depends on
it?
how big the problem is.
Hmm?
Depends on how big the problem is. If it's like a just huge, just like general life problem, I have to come up with a plan, of course. But if it's just like a little thing like, you know, uh, I'm cooking chicken and the pan catches on fire, it's just like, okay, what do I do? Okay, there's water. You know, not
Hmm.
really a plan, just figure it out. I don't know. I'm not good at answering questions. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean
really, really bad at answering questions.
that's interesting. What excites you or energizes you the most?
Um, what excites me or energizes me the most? I think just like getting things done. Just after working on something for a long time, just being done with it. That is like what I've seen consistently just bring me joy the most. Um, yeah, pretty much.
Okay. And why do you think it makes you happy? Just
Just all my work paid off, my investment paid off. There's probably a much better answer for that question. I just couldn't think of it.
okay. Okay. What like extra hobbies do you find yourself being pulled towards and why?
Um, like artistic stuff, like music. Um, um, you know, I'm I want to get into making music someday, like producing my own music and singing on it. I've been singing for like my whole life. I've been in choir for like most of my school years. And I've always been into like drawing and crafts and stuff. So pretty much just my hobbies involve really anything art related. I pretty much do like most things art related. I do knitting and stuff too.
Mhm. How do you make important decisions?
Oh, Well, I just research and gather as much information as possible. I can't make important decisions without knowing absolutely everything there's to know. Um, and I try to put my feelings aside for important stuff, for big stuff. Um, yeah, and I try to be as just like impartial as possible and just make decisions based on like the facts.
T, anything?
Um, what do you think is the biggest problem with humanity?
The biggest problem with humanity, I think, what I really don't like that everybody kind of seems to have made a system out of is just turning everybody's own kind of internal processing into law and into, like societal rules, like everybody's morals, everybody's thought process becomes like what you need to follow, what you need to adhere to. Whereas I feel like if everybody just stuck to just universal concepts, like this is universally true. This is universally like we can all agree this is good, this is true, and make that law, make that what everybody has to, like, if anything, what everybody has to follow, you know? Like I hate this whole like you can't say this, you can't say that, uh, and like you can get arrested for something when you feel like doing that thing is not like bad, you can feel completely justified in it, but because somebody else has a different opinion, somebody else feels a different way than you, they can decide the course of your life, they can put you in prison, whatever it is. And I just think that's really messed up. um I don't really know what an alternative would be to that, but I don't really like living in a world where like everything I do is kind of just judged and decided based on like the judgments of other people, you know? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Can you give like a specific example of what you mean?
Okay, well, I mean, I feel like okay, like I feel like let's say if I was like a dad and like my daughter got raped and then the guy that did it, like they knew who he was, but he got away with it. He didn't go to jail. Well, like what would I do? I would go kill the guy, you know? So if they find me out, I go to jail. When like what I did was perfectly fine, I feel like, that's just an example. I'm not saying whether I would do that or not in that situation, but I'm saying like because other people think that that's not okay, I have to go to jail when I feel like it's perfectly fine. You know what I mean? And like whether somebody has like a good opinion or not, a good moral or not, I don't think that really should mean that their life should kind of be in the hands of somebody else who thinks differently than them. Because who's to say, who's got the better opinion,
All right. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of pushback on that. So hypothetically, speaking of what you said, if you were to go about what you said, then people would take the law and things into their own hands, which would create more chaos. Do you do you understand
Yeah,
that order?
like I said, I don't know how there would be an alternative to it, but it still doesn't like sit right with me,
T, you got anything you want to say about that? Any pushback there, T?
Um, I mean, I see her point. I'm not saying, I agree with her. Just one second. But all right, so what to you it seems like, there's just a question of what's worse. Like, somebody is it worse for somebody to be wrongfully convicted of something, or is it worse for somebody who's guilty to get away?
wrongfully convicted.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that because there's
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was just a thought I was having the other day. And um, I was watching some typing video you were doing before, and that's a question you asked somebody. And I was thinking like, oh, how would I answer that? And then that's what came to mind. So I was reminded of that. It's not the most thought through thing, I will admit, but I do kind of think it's kind of, I think there should be some kind of like more universal kind of system to decide like who did something bad rather than like what the judge on the podium thinks. You know what I mean?
Well, a lot of times the judges rule off precedent. So what kind of like happened in the past, a lot to say, is usually how law works, is working off the precedent. So like let's say Thomas did XYZ in the past, right? And Judge Mercer ruled this way on it, right? So now he's gonna always to a degree rule that way, right? So they usually kind of work off that. Like if they gave Thomas 5 years in prison for what he did, now if Jilly Bean do the same thing as Thomas, he should probably get the same time that Thomas got. They usually work on precedent. Um, Unless it's like something totally new, which SJs aren't great with. So they'll try to like reference something as closely as they can to um, something, right? That's what they usually try to do. But that's
Yeah. So
interesting you
I'll
say that.
think about that. I'll think about that a little more because you guys seem to kind of like think I'm crazy for all that. No,
What?
like
I
I
don't think
agree.
you're
Like
you're not.
a lot of the time, if I'm saying something out loud, I kind of start to realize like, oh, maybe what I'm saying doesn't make so much sense. But now I'm like in too deep. But like
Yeah,
kind of
but
like the underlying feeling is kind of still there. Like I kind of mean still like maybe not the practicality of it,
I just think
but
about like when you said that, I just think about like it in my head and playing out, and I just see like a whole bunch of fire and smoke and anarchy, like almost like a queen to let you run shit. That's what I kind of
yeah,
see. Like it'd be a whole bunch of smoke and anarchy. In
yeah, I know.
uh, not universal type, not universally like it kind of be like more case to case almost scenario.
Yeah, no, like I just feel like the just deciding factor for like if what you did was wrong and if you deserve to be punished for it should be a little more objective. I feel like it's just so like inconsistent and wishy-washy of like what's okay and what's not in the justice system. I think the just justice system is just really messed up and it
Mhm.
really is just kind of like if I were to commit a crime today and have to go to court and sit in front of the judge, I wouldn't be able to prepare for it. I wouldn't be able to like read the book of law, right? And like talk to a lawyer and be like, okay, what am I looking at? Because like at the end of the day, I feel like the judge is just gonna feel however they feel and they're just gonna decide what they decide. You know, like one person could commit murder, the judge will be like, you're fine, go ahead,
Well,
keep going with
yeah.
your life. And then another person will commit murder and the judge is like, oh, well, it's against the law right here. So you need to go to jail. You know, like it's just very inconsistent. And I feel like it's that also reflects kind of in society too with you know you'll get like socially ostracized for feeling a certain way about something and like if you have a different political view from your friend they are just gonna not be your friend anymore, stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
who are you to say that like maybe you're not wrong and maybe I'm right, you know?
Yeah, the political thing is it's a very odd thing. You just I go back to it and I think about it and I thought about it and what I've come from the conclusion of is that people really care about those political shit on more of a like it's like a FI thing that's like in everybody's brain. I don't know what the fuck. It's like a chip, like just goes off because it seems that even people who are like TI focused, like oh my god, if it's abortion or something or like that type of shit, I'm just like I just try to stay the fuck away from it. People be having like these hard on chips just fly off in their brain. It's like it's not that serious. Um, but that's interesting. Let's see. T anything?
I don't know, man. There's a lot to say about that subject. Yeah, I mean, I think that with anything, there's trade-offs. Yeah, I mean, I can understand like the inconsistencies in the justice system are annoying. Um, and
The
also, I
speed
guess
of it is so annoying. The
the what?
speed, the speed of the justice
The
system.
speed.
Yeah, you're taking like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, not even months, years. Like
Well, I mean, it's backed up in so many places, you know.
it's like holy shit, bro.
That's why certain states did bail reform because you know, they just to kind of like alleviate the this you know, all of the flow that they have through the system. You know, all the you know, the all the backup that it has.
Like somebody needs to get in there and clean that shit up. Like Jesus Christ. But it's such a SJ thing, so be rare. But what do you think people misunderstand about you?
Oh, probably a lot. You've already seen I don't know how to really communicate very well at all. So there's that. But also, I feel like people don't really like notice how hard I'm trying. People think I just don't really care. I'm just like, oh, whatever, I'll just do whatever I want. And, like I don't care if I hurt your feelings or whatever. But, I actually really do I try to care about people. You know, I, you know, I feel like I'm just painted as like selfish a lot of the time. And, um, you're doing that on purpose, stuff like that. But I'm just not. Bro, I'm bad at answering questions. I'm sorry. None of that made any sense. Literally, none of that made any damn sense. I'm sorry.
So let's start again. What do you think that people misunderstand about you? Like you can slow down and unpack it. You don't have to just like rapid fire it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's the same thing that I was trying to say. Like people try to people think that I'm purposely out to get them a lot of the time. And that's just not the case. I ended up just wind up I sorry. I wind up in situations a lot of the time where I just look like I'm just an evil villain and I'm trying to get you. I'm trying to be mean and it's just not that.
The fuck
I
are
just
you
get up.
doing?
I
What the
don't
fuck are
know.
you doing that like, you know, I could for me, I can see why people would say I'm like an evil villain because like they claim that I'm very selfish because it's all about like what I want all the time. So like people claim that I'm selfish, but I'm like, yo, like I'm just trying to do what I need to do, you know.
Yeah.
So
No, like the thing is like I feel like I don't wish bad on anyone, but everyone thinks I wish bad on them. I'm like, no, I'm minding my business here.
and then my memory's not so great, so like I can literally like move on for something very quickly. I don't know.
Yeah.
So what's your default way of dealing with stress?
Oh, that's one I know. That's one I know. I've thought about this. I I kind of just retreat. I avoid the problem and retreat until I kind of calm down and know what to do. And then, you know, in my own time, I kind of fix whatever's stressing me out. That seems to be what I do every time. Yeah. Did
Um,
I answer that one good?
okay.
Did that actually make sense?
Describe your
Uh,
ideal day.
ideal date. Uh,
Day.
day. Okay. Ideal day. I don't know. Just um, as of right now, what I would really like to happen is just I'm trying to get a certain job and I would like to just get that done, get into the routine, have that down, and then um there's this thing that I'm trying to learn and I want to get into that more consistently because my ultimate goal is to just I don't really care how I end up making money, but I want my money to open up time for me to just have enough time to kind of just learn the creative things that I want to do, and not have to worry about like how am I going to support myself. So, for instance, right now, this I'm kind of in sales right now, um, and I'm not going to lie, I hate it a lot. I hate it a lot, but it brings in a lot of money, so I'm just gonna just bite the bullet and do it anyway. And that's kind of going to be what I do to make money. So pretty much to answer your question, I just went off topic. I'm sorry. Um, I would want my perfect day right now would probably look like just working, learning, getting closer to, you know, having time and freedom. You know what I mean?
So if everything goes as planned, where you see yourself in the next 5 or 10 years?
5 or 10 years. Okay, so basically a very short amount of my day will be spent just making enough money to do whatever I want. And then the rest of my day will just be making music, making art, just doing whatever I want, just doing what makes me happy, pretty much. Just getting really good at everything I'm interested in.
What makes you happy? You never really said that much.
What makes me happy?
Yeah.
Um, just doing what I like to do, just creating things.
What is something you like to do? Can you explain? Like what's
I like
something?
to sing. I like
Hmm?
to sing. I like to draw. Um, I like making music. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Is there an overarching thing that you feel compelled that you've been sent to do? And what is that?
Something I've been sent to do. No, not really. Sent from where? What do you mean?
Like you never had like this compelling like feeling of like, you were sent to do maybe one thing or something,
I think he's talking about almost like a calling or something like that.
purpose.
Yeah.
Just be a singer.
And how long ago did you know that? And when did you?
Um, Pretty much from the point I was like 7 or 8 years old, I was like, I'm the next Taylor Swift. That's cringy
What?
as hell. That's cringy as hell. Don't tell anyone I said that. Um, but that's kind of what it was, and that's pretty much been consistent. Um, Not the Taylor Swift thing so much,
Why like singer? Like
but
what
yeah.
spoke to you about being a singer?
Well, I was just naturally good at it. Um, I would impress my friends and stuff. Um, I was like the top singer in my choir groups, and just when I do it, it just makes me happy. It just makes me feel good, and you know, I I've put a lot of effort into getting better and better and better at it. Um, and I can do cool things with my voice. So also just writing songs and making music and stuff. It just comes naturally to me. I'm just good at it, And I feel like that's kind of how I want my life to be. I kind of want my life to be um, doing that, making my life kind of revolve around that a lot.
What's something you struggle with the most?
Oh man, communication.
And why do you think that?
I I don't know how to articulate my thoughts or my feelings at all. Like you ask me like what's going on in your head? How are you feeling? And like everything's just a scramble usually up there, and I don't know how to get it out really. But that's actually something I've been insecure about for a while, and I've told a lot of people about that, and most people kind of tell me you are very articulate, and they got to be lying, bro. You know?
It's- so what can you explain like how your brain goes about uh a normal day?
A normal day. Well, I mean, I'm kind of stuck in a rut right now. Um, you know, I pretty much just do DoorDash all day, so I just sit in the car. So how does my brain work in a day?
Mhm.
That was you asked? Yeah, it's pretty
You
much
just went
just
off
like
subject.
it's pretty much just like cloudy and tired all the time. And just wishing to get out sort of thing. Um, yeah, really just cloudy and tired all the time. Cloudy and tired. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Now walk me through how does your brain like process information?
Um, I think it just tries to just I think, oh man, I don't know, man. It's just I get the information. Um, I know I think about it. I just don't know how. I don't really know how to explain it. I just relate it to stuff, and then
Huh?
um, I just relate it to stuff, and then just I end up remembering it, and that's it. Yeah,
So you just
processing
end
it.
up like relating it to something, and let's just say hypothetically, um, you're watching a science channel, right? And they were
Yeah,
talking about fucking dinosaurs or something. Like, how would you like process that information?
I don't know. It just kind of flows into my brain, and it all makes sense. And then I think it's very interesting, and I'll teach it to somebody. I'll be like, "Oh, I learned this thing on the dinosaur channel. Did you know the blah 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 blah?" And then once I get past that teaching it to somebody thing, I don't really forget it so much. So yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. T, anything?
Yeah. So, um, what are skills you could bet on, or like if you were like part of a team, what role would you play on that team? Like if you've ever like had to be on a team, either at work or in school, etc. Um,
Um, I think, I would like to think that I'm more of the leader. I kind of just, okay, you're gonna do this and you're gonna do that. You're gonna do this. You're good at this thing, you do that. You're good at that thing, you do that. But I can also be kind of just a worker bee. Um, and Man, I don't know how to answer that question. That's a hard one.
okay. Well, what skills can you bet on then? Like what skills do you possess that you can count on? And
Oh my gosh. Skills I can bet on. Um, I don't know. I'm just good at getting things done, just to put it blankly. Um, I don't really know what else to say about it. I'm just good at getting things done, and kind of knowing what needs to happen to, whatever the team goal is. I kind of just know what kind of needs to happen to get there, kind of what everyone needs to do and what I need to do and stuff like that.
hmm
Okay. What's something
what does
that
it?
knows you about people? Oh, my bad, T.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
What annoys you about people?
Oh, what annoys me about people? Mm, just how hard it is to just talk to them. Like I feel like everybody's kind of judging me, and if I say the wrong thing, like they're gonna point and laugh, or they're thinking in their head like, this girl's stupid. She's stupid, she doesn't know what she's talking about. And honestly, like that's probably true. I feel like I kind of do that to myself. Um, so yeah, just kind of just not knowing what's going on in people's heads annoys me about people. Just yeah. Did I answer that good?
That's fine.
All right.
Yeah, it's fine. It's just interesting. Yeah.
I think what's really messing me up with this interview is just that I've just spent so many hours kind of trying to figure out my type. And I think I have like internalized a lot of things. Like I think I might have some false beliefs about myself that are kind of skewing, like skewing my answers, and like, oh, I think I'm this way because I read it somewhere and it resonated with me one time. So I need to answer it this way. But man, when it comes to just answering questions about myself in general and just knowing things about myself in general, I just struggle. So like this kind of thing is just hard, you know?
I mean, why do you think you struggle with it? I think it's pretty easy for me to like talk about myself in general because it's just like I've kind of always kind of been like kind of sitting on it. I don't
Sitting
know.
on it?
Like I've always kind of been processing my own thoughts and like why I'm doing the things I'm doing, like like what's my plan here, like that type of thing. So it's like pretty easy for me to talk about. Um, the only thing that kind of gets a little like fuzzy sometimes if they go in like excruciating detail about like exactly that move. Uh,
Yeah, I get it. You know, I struggle with coming up with examples. I can usually give just a general answer to something, and then the the best way to kind of get me is say, give me an example. Like, I don't have I just, it's a whole thing. Like, don't ask me for examples. I don't have any. Um, but yeah, like I just, um, you
how about we
know,
just rephrase it? Give us three words your friends would use to describe you.
okay,
Oh shit, I
sure.
see it. I
Huh?
see it, Thomas. I see it. You just hit me.
Okay. Okay. Um, funny, very, I have a good sense of humor. Um, to, I think I was always regarded as the smart friend. Like, you know, and what do you think about this? Or like, why do you think this person does this and stuff like that? Or like, I'm having a hard time here uh with like my emotions and trauma, and I'll unpack it for them. Um, number three,
Yeah, yeah. I see it now.
I
I
don't
see it,
know.
Thomas. I see it. You'll see it. Check your message. You'll see it there.
I think like kind of just do whatever I want, you know?
Mm-hmm.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
That's everything.
Okay. Okay. Um, what's a lesson you learned the hard way?
A lesson I learned it the hard way.
A lesson you learned the hard way.
Okay. I can't think of any examples of lessons I've learned ever right now.
All right, let's try again. Let's go from a different angle. What's the best piece of advice you would give to your younger self?
Oh, I can do that. Okay. Okay. Um, don't do anything that you know is like not good for you. Like, don't do unhealthy things. Like if you know this is not a healthy thing to do, no matter how bad you want to do it, just don't do it because you're paying for it later on. I actually, you know what? This is actually something I do a lot. I kind of imagine in my head a conversation with my younger self, and I'll be like, don't do this, and don't talk to that person, and and don't do that, and don't do that. And it's very important you listen to me here. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. I have that vision in my head a lot, that scenario in my head a lot. Um, yeah, I'm just not, you know, I could answer that question very well. I just don't really, I don't want to go too much into detail about stuff like that because, I've done some things and I just don't really want to, I really don't want to talk about that. But pretty much just the general thing that a lot of them kind of have in common is just don't do things you know are unhealthy.
Yeah, totally get it. What so celebrity people say you look like?
Celebrity. Um, it's actually really a thing that nobody can really relate me to any celebrity.
Hmm.
Um, like yeah, but I can relate myself to a celebrity, but I'll probably be wrong. You know what I
I
mean?
mean, there's no wrong answers, just you know.
Like, okay, just like the goofiness of Doja Cat. Like when she's kind of in that sort of mood,
Hmm.
that's exactly how I act.
Okay. Yeah. 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 T, what you think? You think we're done here, T?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So we're gonna be done. Yeah, we're gonna go over this. This might surprise you, but yeah. So what we ended up getting is INTJ. Um, when I asked you, you seem to be good at pretty much delegating things. When we asked you like your role, like in a group, whatnot, you were talking about like essentially delegating a lot of stuff, telling people what they were good at. You do this, you do that, type of thing. You talked about getting things done is what makes you happy. That's more of a TE approach to things, right? You getting that little TE there. Um, you talked about like the systems, like what everyone like was. It was like so. Let me see what I wrote here. You said what everyone has made a system out of something, and what you need to follow. This is not universally true. So I hit that for a like systematic point of view. I guess more of so like you were like upset that people are trying to doctrinate people. I guess is that the fair thing to say instead of them like kind of figuring out their own way of doing something. That's kind of what I got from there. You can't say this, you can't say that, you can't do this, whatever. So you're big on like freedom. Like everything seems to align with trying to get you more freedom, uh, time and freedom, uh, even the decisions you make, right? You don't really care too much about them, but as long as they align with your goals, with allowing you to like basically get to what you want to do, you're down to do them. So I hit that for pragmatic and like your progression. You're all about like getting better and better, as you said. So we ended up with you at INTJ.
All right. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Um, yeah, I'm sorry if I gave you a hard time with this whole thing and I just couldn't answer. I just couldn't answer things very well. I just don't know.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, it's interesting. I think you know, sometimes it's good to reflect on like yourself sometimes and like where you're going and why you're going there, and why is it important to you, and get more aligned into what you see as your purpose. I think it's very important
all right.
because if you're not careful, you get too disaligned with your purpose. You'll go into an SE grip and you'll start doing a whole bunch of like stupid SE related shit.
Yeah, I think I definitely am in an SE grip. Um, okay, so like I'm not an ENTP or ESTP.
No. Yeah, I was thinking possibly ENTP, but there was no SI there at all.
Hmm.
So there was absolutely no SI. I mean, your eyes kind of float around quite a bit. But no, I just think most likely you're probably a creative subtype of
Yeah, I knew
of,
that.
of the
I knew that.
INTJ. Um,
Yeah,
which is why, maybe a lot of people beat you up for not being as smart as they would say as Thomas
yeah, yeah, yeah.
or
Um,
Shelley because they're normalizing.
mhm. Yeah, when I thought I was an ENTP for a few years, I thought everything was very spot on except for that SI inferior thing. And I kind of just brushed it off and ignored it. Maybe I was just like, maybe I just have a very underdeveloped inferior. And that's why I don't relate to any of the like afraid of being uncomfortable and really want to be comfortable and like all that stuff. And like,
But I think I wouldn't look at SI inferior as that as much. I would just say like, that extroverted intuition hero is just always constantly fucking doing new things.
yeah,
Has to always do new things. So the SI inferior is just like not being able to keep a routine. not being able to keep stability in their life, right? They're just chaos machines almost to a large degree because like they always got to be doing something new. They get bored so easy. Like everything that other people do is very easy for them. You know, all of a sudden is I'm bored, and if they're bored, they're doing something fucking stupid. Um,
Yeah, I mean, there have been points in my life where, I was just doing a whole lot better mentally, and I would have kind of a routine sort of to my day, like structure to it. And my goal right now, my short-term goal right now is to get that structure back. Um, Getting that job that I want will kind of be kind of like the anchor point to that, and then everything I
mhm.
want, I build around it. Um, and that means everything. Like I'll be working out again, stuff like that. I just need like that one thing.
I think
It's just kind of just put me back into that thing where I'm just super diligent.
Well, I would say I think to a degree your hero functions a little offline. And what I mean by that is it doesn't have a pure purpose that it's actually chasing, right? It's kind of like in limbo, as I would say it.
Hmm.
Yours is
Yeah.
in limbo. Um, so
Oh,
it's leaving you open to like, kind of like stuttering around, right? So
yeah.
you need to get back online. What is, something that you're focused on, or like what's important to you? Maybe if you like, I know you may not like look at the past a lot, but maybe think about the young version of yourself and what did that kid want? Okay, what was that kid enthusiastic about? Because it seems as though somewhere in between that you've lost that. So you're kind of splitting around.
Yeah. Or could it just be that I'm an ENTP? Is that possible?
No.
No, but
Well, you
yeah,
you couldn't give us any SI to save your life. I mean,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Or
like
any,
you said, you can't give examples. I mean, ENTP would be able to provide several examples.
yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
even though their
Well,
SI is kind of crappy, they still have enough to be able to tap into it and like talk about their personal experiences.
Oh, they
Or
can't wait to talk about it. I
yeah.
mean, just the only thing with them, sometimes you don't know if it's true or false. I mean, they're deluded SI. Everything seems like if you listen to an ENTP, everything sounds like it came off a fucking movie. It's like, bro, your life can't be a movie, bro. But yeah.
okay. Yeah, because one thing my boyfriend was saying, um, I just I'm not as just driven and motivated as an INTJ should be, so I can't be an INTJ. But I feel like I'm just in just a hard part of my life right now, and everything's just kind of foggy, and nothing really makes a lot of sense to me right now. And I know what I want. Um, I do know what I want. It's just I don't know specifically. Yeah, just screw all of that. I don't know.
Well, like I said, it kind of needs to go back and kind of look at yourself in the mirror, that child version of yourself, and see like, okay, what was this person really excited about? What was important to this person? Because it's there, you just lost it, or it may seem like it's not achievable anymore. So you got to get it back online because if it's not back online, it's kind of like you just in a period of SE grip, and until like something like gets it back online, you're kind of gonna sputter around.
Hmm. Like aimless.
Yeah. I mean, a great example would be Beth Harmon from
Queen's
Queen's
Gambit.
Gambit. When she chess was her vision, right? But then when she started losing, she lost her vision, right? And it looked like it was impossible. So she started partying, drinking crazy, not taking care of herself. And until like her friend came in her life and like got her back on track with her NI, did all that SE shit go away. So I think that's like the perfect example. Um,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
sometimes you gotta like you gotta sit down, like I said, you gotta go back and look at that kid again. It might be hard, but like yo, you gotta look at that kid. Like that kid wanted something when she was a kid. It's still there. You just like kind of foregone it for it in a degree. Maybe you can't get exactly what she want, but maybe you get something close to it, and maybe you shoot for that, right? But like you kind of got this like idea in your mind that like if I get close enough, then I'll try to go all the way. Um, that's best piece of advice I would say.
Oh yeah, you said something about FEIs. What was that? Why?
I, I don't know. Your eyes kind of look a little bit more not so like a lot of INTJs kind of got this stare. Yours isn't like Thomas's, you know, like there's like no emotion in Thomas' eyes. Like you're trying that. Thomas ain't trying. That's just how Thomas is, you know. You get what I'm saying? Like if you look at Thomas, it's like always there. Like it's almost like no emotion in Thomas' eyes. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not good or bad, but it's just how it is a lot of times with the NI stare, like NI look sometimes.
Okay. Because something my boyfriend was saying was that I don't look like any of the other INTJs. I don't have any of the mannerisms of any INTJ, so I can't be an INTJ. And I was like, you know what, you're actually right. You know, like, but I don't see how I look like really anybody. I haven't seen anybody with kind of my mannerisms and stuff like that.
Mm. I don't know. It's there. It's there.
Well, but I think me and Mercer, I think we think you kind of look like Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
So
Really? She's
yeah,
at ESP, right?
no, she's INTJ.
She
Yeah.
is?
Yeah,
She's
Yeah.
not at ESP?
No,
correct.
she's
Yeah,
INTJ.
What?
Yeah, she's INTJ.
yeah. If you actually watch interviews of her, you could see that she's responding. She's responding
Well, I mean,
direct, abstract.
if you listen to a lot of stuff she says, like she's got that music thing when she was like 3 years in the future with her music with her fans
Yeah,
and shit.
uh-huh. Very
She
future
talks
focused.
about that openly, and I'm like, fuck, this bitch INTJ. You know, INTJs can be fucking dumb as fuck, you know. But yeah, she's not INTJ, and you do like her. You're like a Taylor Swift.
I
You
don't really
said
listen. I don't
you
really
said
listen
you
to.
like a Walmart version.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Well, you know, like there's greater value, you know.
Mhm.
Like you kind
Thank
of
you.
you got the I'm not trying to be mean. You got like the overall it's there, but it's not like, you know, Taylor Swift, you know. But you know,
Mhm.
again, Taylor Swift always has makeup on out the wazoo, you know.
Yeah.
Probably had like, you know, plastic surgery shit. So
I actually don't really know about that. I don't think she had plastic surgery.
I don't fucking know. She's a celebrity. I fucking don't doubt. And she's 30 something. Bullshit. I guarantee she didn't have some type of plastic surgery.
It's
But
probably, you know what it is. It's
being
probably
30 something constantly in the news like that, she didn't have some plastic surgery. You can book that shit.
Right. Yeah.
You can book
Oh,
that shit. Being 30 something, there's absolutely, and just to be like, because women are such like everything they have is attuned to their attractiveness. So like, come on.
yeah.
Unfortunate. That's just how it is. But yeah. So there ain't no way. They trying to stay as beautiful as possible forever. Um,
I'm gonna have to look at Taylor Swift interviews.
yeah, go back, go look at it. You'll see it.
Yeah, so I mean, surprisingly, you don't. I mean, honestly, you really don't see that many ESFP singers. I mean, there's a few of them, but like,
Really?
it's overwhelming. Yeah, INTJs are very overrepresented. Um, I
If
think we
you
have. I mean, Dolly Parton's an ESFP. I think you have Cardi B. You have what's her name, Nicki
Nicki
Minaj. There's
Minaj.
a few of them out there, but not a crazy amount of ESFPs because they don't have that. They don't have the NI. They don't have the vision, so they're not able to commit to like to a
Okay.
long term goal like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And a lot of times, like when it comes to, like those singers or whatnot, they're usually picked because they're usually like attractive to a degree, right? And they're
Yeah.
usually handpicked. Not so much all the time is the work a lot of times, but they are picked, right? Um,
Yeah.
and you know,
Yeah.
then they create this whole the producer and all this, your people create this whole image behind you. So and when you talk about performing, it's not really big SE related because if you've done it several times, it's no longer um, SE, right? An SE would be like if I made your ass go do an Iron Man right now, right? Make you do some shit you ain't never done before. But if you've done something like 1,000 times, you're not really using SE. A good example of how you can overcome SE inferior is like Kobe Bryant. So whenever he practiced, he would practice as hard as he possibly could, so that any situation that happened to him, he would always know what to do, because he can't just like improvise as well as, like, let's say Michael Jordan or something, right? Who's just like a straight up natural to it. But so what he would do is he would do like his 1,000 shots every day, which is fucking insane, and he would practice just like he played. So when he played, it would be practice,
Mhm.
right, to get around the weaker SE. Um, but yeah, well, it's been a pleasure, and um,
Yeah.
we got another person in like 7 minutes, so we can get out of here.
All right.
All right. If you got any questions, you can always hit us up.
Okay. Oh, wait, never mind, never mind. You
Go
said
go
I'm
for it. Go for it.
creative, right?
What?
That I'm creative. What
Yeah.
do you think about like Enneagram? You know,
I don't know.
you can't really do that with like everything I
I
said.
mean, I would probably look at 3 or 6, probably 3 or 6.
Okay. That's
Um,
fine. Yeah.
those two, 3 or 6. You got to be one of those two.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
All right.
all righty. Take it
Uh,
easy.
All right.
okay.